Game 2, though, KLG up 1, and one more win from them. They're going to be advancing on. The winner of this set will face off against Enemy, and that's going to be still today. Up next after this match, and we will have Thor versus Paradigm to close out the evening.
So the biggest thing here for me is going to be a question. Red Canids, they dropped the first one. Was it their comp? Was it their picks? Was it their bans? Do you want to see something different in this PB phase?
I don't actually mind their picks and bans, but I feel like they weren't aggressive enough early, and they allowed KLG to just get advantages in mid-camp fights, just kind of with numbers advantage. I think the first couple kills we saw was the jungler, the Awilix, going to gank Beltway. He tried to gank a Guan Yu, and he walked over, and then immediately, that means there's a 3v2 advantage in that core. They forced the fight. They got a double kill. The rotations from Apollo were good as well, so we saw the 4v2, and we saw that 2 or 3 times. Then a Gold Fury gets taken, and it's just slowly out of control off of just small misplays and just not being at the right spot.
I think you mentioned it without realizing it. Globals. Giannis and Apollo, too much to handle. Just too much to handle. We did see the Giannis ultimate forced out a lot.
Yeah.
Sure, 3 times out of 4 maybe. But that 4th time when it's not forced out, oh well, the entire team's coming down the hollow tunnel.
And it's still an ult where you're able to reposition yourself, and it's used as an escape tool, so it's okay even if it's not there for the damage. Picks and bans though here. Naja Susano banned away from Canids, and Raijin taken away as well. So some pretty top tier picks, and the Guan Yu, who?
Absolutely great call. Need to get that Guan Yu out. Guan Yu is one of those game 2 bans that you see a lot, where game 1, you know what? I'm not sure if we need to ban it. Will they even pick it? This, that, or a third. But when Guan Yu does show up, a lot of times he can just run the game. We checked maybe 10 minutes before the game was over at 25K healing.
Yes.
I'm afraid to look at what it was at the
Probably
end.
35. I would bet pretty heavily that it was nearly 35,000. But Thor first picked for KLG. You can never go wrong with this guy. Even if you get behind, you are still useful in team fights. You have stuns, you have your double tap, which will do a significant amount of damage. You can build tanky and be an initiator. There's multiple styles, and I'll be interested to see what type of style KLG will play this Thor.
One size fits all as the character. Players, however, played a little bit different. Some players have their own versions. Verizial really the only player that I think has a complete Thor game. Verizial and Adapting are really the 2 players that have complete Thor games, and he'll be up against an Isis and a Bacchus.
And I think this Isis pick is more to keep it out of the hands of KLG. Red Canids don't want them to have the guaranteed 2v2 with this Thor Isis. I mean, they're known as kind of the strongest in their roles for the early game, and you can snowball matches just off that. Mid-camp fights are almost impossible for the other team unless they have, say, a double bounce comp like a Naja Zeus, but Naja's banned away.
Kumbhakarna one more time. This time on the side of KLG, and Soul will be the selection. So again, expect to see this on Daelon. This is one of his most notable gods in this long lane. There is some wiggle room. Yes, it could be mid, but knowing these players, this is going to be in the Hunter role.
And it's going to be a Vamana picked up for Red Canids. OReiTroll, one of his favorite gods, a god he's been playing since season 1, I want to say. Worlds, he is, this is kind of his go-to, his comfort pick. He played it in 2 of the wins at his regional championships as well. So something you can't really go wrong with. Just so useful. Also going to be good for locking down Soul in the backline if Disapparate's down.
Love the Odin man coming out from Red Canids. This is 1 + 1 = 2. You got an Isis and a Vamana. Nobody wants to be trapped in a ring that stops you from healing when you're Isis or Vamana. So auto ban coming out there. The Nemesis from KLG, also a good choice. Bacchus, Isis, all of a sudden I'm thinking all-in composition. Nemesis complements that. Red Canids need a jungler. Very intelligent bans coming out from both of these squads.
And now here, we're into the second phase of bans, and I think we're going to see, Scylla. Just no thank you. Canids actually the one to play it last time, and they don't want it in the hands of Numeritos.
Well, they see that they have their own Isis, and again, Red Canids know KLG's game. They know that Soul is going to the Hunter role, so that Scylla coming out. Look, we got the quadra kill. We don't want you to get the quadra kill. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Apollo's still open, and honestly, this is something that maybe Canids want to go into here in their second phase of picks. And the reason is that KLG, they have the Thor. You have to assume that they could go back to the Giannis for Numeritos. And that's 2 globals that simply you don't want to deal with.
So with the pick here for Red Canids, I would love to see, as you say, I would love to see the Apollo. They already have the Isis, so the Giannis is a little bit of a harder pick.
I think the Apollo here also really good against Thor ganks. You have the rotation, and you can see Canids are going for this early game, right? They have the Isis Bacchus, pair that with an Apollo for rotations, and it's a team comp that kind of translates pretty well throughout the game. Instead, though, Hou-Yi, you can never go wrong with Hou-Yi either.
Yeah, Hou-Yi, this is the guy that XT actually wants to play. Last time I noted that the Soul was banned and the ROM was first snap pick to avoid KLG from getting those ones. Hou-Yi is actually the guy that XT really wants to bring out and show his stuff. So that's what we'll see on the side of Red Canids. 2 last picks coming out from Kaos Latin Gamers. They need a mid laner and they need a solo laner.
Could go a number of ways. We could see the Robin picked up just for that early pressure.
Nope.
Bellona. So,
Roma Invicta.
I mean, Xbalanque picked up as well, so late game. So the KLG's composition, there isn't a real clear directive, I would say, but it's a composition that has a lot of AoEs, and throughout the game, they're gonna have okay pressure. Even if they get behind early, they could still come back.
Yeah, you've got this sort of mid-late.
Yeah,
mid-late game.
I would say that
is really what you're looking at. Soul, Thor, these characters, Bellona. I mean, Bellona's chef's kind of always Bellona, but these characters, the latter part of the mid game is really where everybody's going to come into play. And if the game really does get rough, if everything goes too late, well, we'll just call up big old buddy Xbalanque. Red Canids, they're going to go with Awilix as their jungler. So, no jumping, but not really a problem, because KLG doesn't really have any jumps.
The thing here about this Isis is it's going to be really hard for her to stay alive. There's a lot of dive coming out from KLG, not only the Bellona, but the Xbalanque. Darkest of Night's going to be able to ult and make it very easy for that Bellona to just kind of bully that Isis out of fights.
Yep.
Thor as well going to come down on top of her, and I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit of trouble for MarcelZ in this game.
Yeah, it should be problematic. We'll take a look. KLG up 1 game to none. Keep in mind, this is the best of 3. So if Kaos Latin Gamers are able to take this one to the cleaners, then that means Red Canids sit, and Kaos will go ahead and fight Enemy, which will be directly after this one. So that should be very, very interesting.
So Awilix Bacchus Isis should have the stronger early game in the 3v3 here. They have so much pressure. Isis Bacchus alone, just known as some of the best brawlers early game. Obviously, Bacchus can translate to late game as well. The trouble is going to be the Thor, so they do have to worry a little bit about double taps in their positioning here, so I don't know, though. It's going to be hard for Thor to do that, because the second Thor double taps, Bacchus is going to be like, I'm just going to jump on you. Your escape's down.
I'm honestly just looking for this this late game Hunter duel. I want to see XT on the Xbalanque, Daelon on the Soul that he's known for very well. I think these guys going head-to-head has been one of the more exciting matchups.
For sure.
XT is a fiery guy. Just sitting here, he likes to yell a little bit, likes to have a good time. Watching them at LAN has been really a treat. And you can see the Soar guys really eyes just glued to the screen. They want to see what's going on with this team. They want to see how everything's going to go. I'm sure Enemy looking on somewhere as well.
Game 2. KLG need 1 more win to close out. First hit goes to Beltway. Game over, boys.
See you later.
Pack it up. F6.
Chaos now.
Yes, the first hit curse. For those who don't know at home, if you get the first hit on your opponent, you win the game. It's just fate. I think that's only with, is that only with hunters though?
No, it's old Smite tradition. It goes down with roster changes on twit longers, etc.
No, I lied, because that was a bludgeon. It's first basic attack, so it doesn't count. All right, don't worry, Red Canids fans, you're still in it. You're still in it. You got hope.
Interesting choice. Turn 1, level 1 curse. Coming out from Daelon here on the Kumbhakarna.
I like this.
It's the most annoying thing ever.
This is eager style, right?
Yep.
Especially because FiremancerSkull hasn't gone into sprint, so he doesn't have that direct counter. He's got the meditation, and something to note is that 65 healing reduction coming out from that curse does affect med as well.
And it's going to be tough in that long run. As Zalonsix will start out on these back camps with the Xbalanque. He's going to go hit it with the basics. And as I said, this is really what I'm looking for. I want to see how well that these hunters go head-to-head. It's going to be Numeritos on the Soul, actually. Interesting choice.
Yeah, they did last pick the Xbalanque. I'm not the biggest fan of Soul in the mid lane. She does have the pressure with her too, but the second you get into the mid-camp fights, it becomes much harder because the Stellar Burst hits walls, so it's not like an Isis where you could throw a Spirit Ball or a Wing Gust through it. Your positioning is very important, and sometimes you got to put yourself in that bad spot to get your damage off.
So here's the 1-2 punch. Daelon on the Kumbhakarna and Daelon on the Xbalanque. And then you've got XT on the Hou-Yi next to his support, FiremancerSkull, the Bacchus. Red Canids, they're looking for a little bit more aggression than the last time around. They've dropped 1. Just want to stretch this one out for 3.
And now, right-hand side, mid-camp's going to go the way of Canids here, and KBIOLA going to be able to meet them in the mid lane, but the slight advantage over to Canids, got about a 400 gold lead, only a minute in. So, I mean, the out-farming just on these camps when it comes to the fire elementals and the mid camps, pretty good.
Yeah, the fire elementals actually wound up amounting to a lot because, so the way it happens is fire elementals are very rarely split. It's usually the person
whoever gets there first.
Well, sure, whoever gets there first, I mean in succession. So if you get the first batch, that means that you've got the pressure in the solo lane. And that pressure in the solo lane isn't something that dissipates very simply. So if the enemy team doesn't do anything to really come back away from that, that will go ahead and allow you to pick up the second grouping and possibly the third.
Really good job in lane by Beltway right now, completely bullying OReiTroll out. And OReiTroll, I think, overestimating his own Vamana a little bit. I mean, he's just taking the poke. He was just sitting out of position instead of just resetting, waiting till his abilities get high enough to clear. He's trying to battle into the Bellona, who has Death Toll and is going to be able to heal up. I mean, look at this. I'm not going to say he's going to die, but it's he's going to be poked out pretty early.
To be fair, there are more potions on the side of the Vamana, so OReiTroll just now evened it up 2-2. He had that pot above Beltway, so he's probably just positioning himself. I don't want to call it like a lame med bait, but sort of along the way, not as instant, but sort of, okay, I'm taking the poke, and now I'll slowly heal up.
And probably not going to see any kill here. I don't think OReiTroll is going to mess up. He's
That
got
was
his
the
ult online as well.
Yep.
And I don't think he's going to be able to get Beltway low enough to really force anything here.
Yeah, with the ultimate, quite a different story. Beltway now looking for the just the push out of lane, quite literally into the jungle. Down goes Vamana, and KBIOLA going to take a lot of poke, and you can see the Thor just used purification. Had to get out of there real bad. So Red Canids now have pressure.
160 seconds where he's going to be pretty gankable unless he can time his ult or hammer away. Level 6 coming out from Dengosao and MarcelZ, and I want to see them continue to force these fights, especially considering that purification is already burned. I mean, one Spirit Ball should guarantee Thor's death, especially in that situation where he's going to be able to burn his hammer. You probably could have just saw Awilix jump forward and then feather step him. I mean, with Ice's ultimate as well, I feel like that's almost guaranteed.
A little bit. I'd say a little bit.
I mean, it's really on Numeritos to drop his ultimate right there.
Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. And now Numeritos, he's just got to look. KBIOLA again off the mark with the stun from the Thor. He gets FiremancerSkull, but not really who he was looking for. There's the ultimate out of the mid lane soul. And that means the speed buff is going to be selected by Chaos. So good job defending, and KBIOLA will be able to pick up his buff.
Really well timed there, coming up from the soul, Supernova. On point, don't want to get your buff stolen away, and it's something where KLG knows that as long as they could secure that buff, they don't really have to worry about fighting, but it is down here. OReiTroll forced out on the right-hand side. And it looks like Red Canids want to fight, and they should, honestly. They have the lead, they have the better 3v3. Thor in the middle lane, gonna run into the Bacchus.
Just dealing with FiremancerSkull, gonna push him out just a little bit into the mid lane. Tectonic Rift does find a home this time around.
He knows. KBIOLA knows he can't hammer there or he's dead.
Yep.
It's way too risky because he's just gonna get jumped on. He would have been forced to ult at the very least.
Not quite gonna go for it. KBIOLA now on the Thor. I think we've already seen what kind. We asked the question, what kind of Thor are we gonna see? Not too aggressive right now, just playing safe, making sure to not go too deep or too crazy too fast.
And this is, when you have Thor, right, you want to be able to control the early game, but because he's paired with the Soul and the Kumbha, up against an Awilix, Isis, Bacchus, just play it safe. You still have a really strong counter initiation, which is going to make it a little bit hard for Canids to force anything in the side lanes, right? Because if Awilix or Bacchus rotate over there, even if Thor's not there the second it happens, all he has to do is make his way over a little bit, right? It's not like he has to fully rotate. He can come down with this ultimate, and it's much easier to get there.
So the Xbalanque now, Zalonsix, just looking in the jungle, seeing where the Hou-Yi rotated. Because the Hou-Yi just looking at the jungle, trying to see where the Xbalanque rotated. And you're kind of used to seeing this.
Like, where's he at? All right, where's this guy at? And where you're at.
It's all about just the mind games and the misinformation, pretty much, of what's going on there. And just allowing players to stay on their toes. It's very important. That's why you see the vision coming out from both players, honestly, in the long lane.
Beltway actually able to force out OReiTroll there, and you can see KBIOLA rotating over, but I mean, Vamana has already taken a trip back to base, so the Thor's just going to share and the XP, and this could be good pressure onto the tower if they want. It's going to be a really slow back coming up from the Vamana, and this is going to be close to being taken, I think. Probably about 3/4 of the way done.
Yeah, a lot of poke coming out here, but KBIOLA's going to play it safe and just walk away very quickly.
Really safe.
He's 2 levels down against Vamana, and on the left side, we've got a little bit of an exchange. Purification going to be used to get rid of some of the nonsense that Awilix has got. And there's a Xbalanque ult, which is pretty much the great dissuader. As soon as the lights go out, nobody wants to fight.
The Xbalanque was also there in position to fight where Zalonsix, extt, kind of was a little bit slow to rotate. So even though Canids had the numbers advantage because KBIOLA had gone to the right-hand side.
I love this. Look at the angle he's got here. And the immediate silence, knowing that the stun can't come out. There's the belly flop, no follow-up because of Daelon's feel. Very good job. Looking for the first blood, and Numeritos finds it. Kaos with one on the board, and the rotation out. They got what they came for, and they leave swiftly.
If you are KBIOLA, you are looking over at Daelon and saying, thank you. FiremancerSkull tried to get the Intoxicate off, and I'm not saying that was guaranteed death, but it was pretty close.
I'm saying it was guaranteed death, and Daelon just said, nope.
Oh no, FiremancerSkull had pin boots. Yeah, he was dead.
Nope.
He was dead.
Daelon saves the life of KBIOLA.
Perfect Mez timing. I mean,
really?
A little bit later, you could actually see the Bacchus had just started up the animation. He kind of gave that little jig like, and he gets Mez.
Very rough stuff coming out against Red Canids. So Kaos are the ones that wind up with the kill. And you can look at that player damage. Bellona really up on top. And Soul certainly not a slouch either.
And this is just OReiTroll getting bullied out early. Funny enough, though, he has a gold event. What is happening in that lane? Why does he have a gold event? I guess we did see KBIOLA come and share a wave. I'm not sure if he shared a few more waves than we had originally noticed. That's got to be it. I mean, I don't see how else he has this gold lead.
And OReiTroll going to continue it. Here comes Beltway trying to stop the back, and he'll be successful. Bludgeon still hits. But Vamana will go ahead, dash underneath the tower, and with the teleport available, a quick back, a quick buy, and he'll be right on back to fight.
Beltway has ult there. He probably gets that kill. But I think they had already exchanged ults. You can see both of them down for a little bit. And not the best timing coming out from Vamana. He really didn't want to back until he could finish his breastplate, but well, I guess he was going to back anyway because he was poked out.
Dengosao just waiting in the corner, seeing if anybody wants to step too far down. KLG, had they made the aggression easily, Red Canids were able to turn. But Kaos know a little bit better. They'll play it safer.
Yeah, and you can see KBIOLA on the right-hand side just rotating over, trying to share another wave. So he's been over there a little bit, and he's kind of not only hurting himself because he's not farming his jungle, but he's hurting his solo laner as well. Decent lead considering how much of an advantage Beltway had early on.
Yeah, so a lot of damage coming out from the guys on Kaos. Good
really
poke.
Solid.
And MarcelZ.
The most important part of that was actually hitting the tectonic rift just as the spear ball passed through him, so the detonation couldn't come through.
Yeah, that's one of the keys playing against these Isises is trying to figure out how to disrupt their disruption. These spear balls sort of a two-part shot. This is very risky, but I love the play coming out from Kaos.
They gotta burn it now.
If Red Canids come around the corner, they're ready to fight. There it goes. KLG secured, and everybody's gone. Well played, sneaky, and satisfying. 1 kill and 1 gold fury, and Red Canids find themselves down 500 gold.
I mean, Red Canids kind of just let that happen. Aggression on the right-hand side. Beltway's going to miss his ultimate. And now he could get turned on, but Vamana not fast enough in big baby form. No Fatalis online. Beltway should be able to get out of this one. Actually, I think he taunted a little bit, knocked up. I thought he almost could have got turned on there. And
well, here comes the rest of Kaos, and that's really what it was about, Kevin. I mean, you see the turnaround, and it looked like a taunt, but everybody else is here. And everybody else from Red Canids here as well. KBIOLA finds an exit on the south side. Daelon in some trouble as he finds himself very low. Doesn't have any tools available. Intoxicate comes out from Firemancer, and down goes Numeritos. Dengo gets the credit for that one. And the Kumbhakarna stuck in the passive. Couple more hits.
What is he doing? KBIOLA just needs to get out. And there's this hammer as well, guaranteed. Dead feather step. Double kill coming up from Dengosao. I don't know exactly what KBIOLA was thinking, but I'm assuming it was nothing.
I mean, the idea was to save the Kumbhakarna's life. If he gets the triple stun out of 3 people surrounded him, good job.
No,
but
it's like even if he hits, even if he connects the stun on all 3 people, it's 3 people. All it takes is 2.5 swings, right? Everyone hits him twice, right? There's 6 of his 8, and then just 2 more from someone else. And KLG, they started off really solid, but kind of throwing away the lead there.
Yeah, a little bit rough there, but it's still very early on. These guys separated by nothing. It's a tie game, folks. 200 gold, and that just is, what, 4 wards?
That. if you're, depending what wards, right?
Exactly,
if you're lazy, if you're doing just the regular wards, right? But the good players, they're hitting up those sentries. KBIOLA, Beltway, Daelon, and Zalonsix. So 4 in hand right now for KLG. No Gold Fury just yet. I don't imagine they're going to be placing too many unless they want to force a fight, which it looks like they could.
Yeah, Beltway in some trouble, finds a way out, even though there were 4 Red Canids there right in the mid lane. So not going to go too aggressive, just a little bit.
And farming away right now. This is This is pretty good for KLG considering the Bacchus Awilix Isis combo, like their strong early game. It's not done, but they weren't able to get as much as I think originally intended.
Sure.
Now, trouble here. Nice Mez, and actually FiremancerSkull in a lot of trouble. Spear Ball is going to connect, and Xbalanque should dissuade any aggression, but KBIOLA going to come down.
And he's going to miss the stun, so FiremancerSkull is good until he gets knocked up in the sky, and Numeritos supernovas all over him. Double kill for the mid laners so far. KBIOLA just by himself rotates, and extt just takes him out. KBIOLA just completely unaware of where he's at, and Numeritos has done a great job for his team, but even still finds a death on the jungler.
2 kills, and that was so unfortunate for Dengosao. Daelon actually knocks up FiremancerSkull, right? Comes down, and Dengosa's actually standing in the way. He gets knocked back into Numeritos and just into death. Very unfortunate for him.
Do you know, KBIOLA was sitting here in the mid lane, right towards the entrance into the left side jungle, and just Berserker's barrages.
I don't know what's going on with him, because honestly, last game, he had a really solid showing, but this
That's
time,
what I'm saying.
There's some pretty big misplays right now, not only on the right-hand side, but in the mid as well. He needs to get stuff together before Red Canids can, come back into this game. They already have closed the gap when Kaos had that lead.
And thankfully, KBIOLA's on the god that can do that, right? If he's on a Najah, if he's on an Awilix, and he's having this style game, it's just not going to be conducive to victory. But here on the Thor, he can make a couple of mistakes early game, and then later on just be a CC bot.
The mechanics are on point, though. We just saw the Thor, the stun and a double tap, and we've seen double taps hit all game. It just seems to be his decision-making and map awareness right now. A little bit off. Still 4-4, though, 13 minutes in. And Canids and KLG completely even in this matchup. Gold Fury going to be spawning here in about a minute, probably what both teams are going to be looking at.
Some of the pings coming out as well.
It's another
again. Double tap.
Oh.
FiremancerSkull within range.
He wanted the knock up there. A little bit out of range, though.
Yeah, I mean, FiremancerSkull, you can, it's funny, even in the overhead view, you can see the fire in these guys' eyes, specifically in Bacchus and Sobek, when they just walk a certain way, and you know they're coming for you. You absolutely know. You look at them and say, hey man, I could read you like the Guinness Book of World Records. I know you're coming for me, so I'm not going to let it happen.
FiremancerSkull. Yeah, I think he was looking to go in there, but yeah, I mean, we kind of mentioned it already, but KBIOLA, it's going to be really hard for him to find these double taps. Aggression, though, knocked up, but Awilix not going to find the pull. That was the support. You don't want to risk doing that.
And again, Kaos, fantastic ultimate coming out from Zalonsix. No lights, no fights.
What are you doing?
Numeritos stuck, pulled, jumped, stunned, and he's going to go ahead and disperse. Beautiful use of Soul's abilities just to save his life. Honestly, Red Canids threw the kitchen sink at that mid laner, and Numeritos still finds a way out.
But look at this. Beltway rotates in, does a good amount of damage to Isis, has his ultimate as well, but Isis is just going to hold the circle protection, and it seems like it's going to be a reset here. No one with a good amount of heals, though. No Guan Yu. No annoying Guan Yu. It's like last... Oh, man, it's so rough. It's got to be rough playing into Guan Yu in those situations where you poke so much and then just... It's all neutralized.
No Guan Yu, 2 curses. Kaos still feeling the results of last game. Realistically, it's for the Vamana. The Vamana's going to go ahead and heal up relatively quickly. And Isis, of course, circle protection is a big deal.
This is a bait from Red Canids there.
Oh,
you can see Daelon, the first one to be poked out here. He is pressured, and he's going to take a trip back to base, but he's on top of a ward.
Exactly. He's thinking about it. No real commit just yet. So now Daelon's showing up. Keep in mind, he does have some of the tools available to him. Here's the blink forward. Dengo not going to find much of anything. Here's the full pull. Double Spirit Ball out of the mid lane for Red Canids. Another dash forward from Zalon. Can't find much of anything. Thor up, looking for a target.
I don't think there's anyone he's going to be able to come down on. No one's in a position. It is going to be Thor, but he's knocked up before he can get his hammer off. And there comes Supernova and Beltway over the top. Double kill coming out for one person, and it's going to be Numeritos returning the favor.
And FiremancerSkull in some trouble. You can see the Xbalanque wants to come. Darkest of Nights not being very polite here, just going to look for the hit. And there you go. Numeritos finds 5 kills in a row without a death. And now on the other side is extt just trying to find the basics. Not going to be so lucky as Numeritos pops his sank, walks directly towards his opponent. Now with a little bit of space, Kaos going to look for the objective.
And Numeritos couldn't have aggressed on there anymore. A single ricochet probably spells the death for him. XTT, though, just going to focus on the red buff here as all 3 members of KLG who stayed alive in the fight, focusing on the Gold Fury. XTT coming around the corners, and KLG reset.
Oh, that was a drop, but honestly, with the way Beltway's going to zone out, good stun, couple more basics. Beltway going to find a death. Here comes XT.
That's worth.
But fine.
That was worth. I mean, let's break down that fight from the beginning, though. KLG is able to get ahead. KBIOLA makes an interesting choice. He comes down on 4 there, hits, I believe, 3 with the stun, then hammers away, and a great knock-up coming from Dengosao. But the problem was, all members of Red Canids were grouped. Beltway over the top there with the Eagles rally, stuns them out, does a good amount of damage, and the Numeritos, they're all stunned. Supernova connects onto all of them. Nothing you normally see.
Not quite. And after those exchanges, a couple of objectives and a couple of good kills, honestly, a whole lot of nonsense, Adonis. You see a 2,000 gold lead on the side of Kaos. Just good stuff, good objective.
I mean, look at the damage right now. It is Numeritos and Beltway, the two that combined for, I think each of them got their own double kills in that engagement. And most of that damage was probably from that last fight. I mean, there was 4 members grouped. They both got the bludgeon and the supernova, massive amount.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming out, obviously, from both sides. But Kaos just on the top a little bit more this time around. 3 players here. Honestly, if the positioning is strong enough, KBIOLA is going to get the double tap on the stun, but Daelon on the wrong side of the wall. That could have been really toasty for Red Canids, but Kaos just don't find the execution.
And these Thor hammers are incredibly risky. KBIOLA needs to be very aware of surroundings when he does that, because not only could the Bacchus look to jump on him with his hammer down, but the Isis has almost a guaranteed spirit ball.
I mean, he's basically died 3 times because of it, but he's found 7 assists on top of it.
I mean, he's been setting up a good amount of kills, and we've really only seen two misplays coming out from him.
Yeah, I'd say so. KBIOLA, early on, you and I were both really questioning it, and then we finally vocalized it. But a little bit later, he's definitely trying to do what Thor does. Good stun and a good double tap, but that's a tanky support. FiremancerSkull gonna be all right. Gonna walk a little bit away.
Numeritos there, risky. You always feel a little bit too safe on Soul sometimes, I would say, where you're like, I have Disappary.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he got away, but he also took half his life in damage as he rotated past 3 players.
And that sends him directly home. So the Soul will be able to purchase some new items, and it's a 18-minute Warlock Sash, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly something interesting. Usually, what happens is we'll see a E-Staff. In fact, it got to the point where, because basically the idea is Ethereal Staff is a lot of power and health, but you don't have to build it up. Warlock Sash is more so, but you got to build it up. It came to a point last season where Warlock Sash, even at the beginning of the game, wasn't worth it. So we go E-Staff. This might be the latest Warlock Sash I've ever seen.
I mean, at 18 minutes, the question is, what are KLG looking to do? And it's probably hold out to late game, I would imagine. Even though they have the lead, I mean, the Soul right now is level 16, is going to be double stacking. And when both of those are stacked up, that's a lot of damage on this Soul.
Yeah, also
going to be much healthier with that Warlock Sash.
Yeah, it's also going to be Monday by the time both of those are stacked up. Numerito, really, I mean, late game, you're looking for the late game here. You do have a Xbalanque, so it's certainly not completely out of the question for that to be the go, but it's rough.
Please don't ever joke about us ending this on Monday. We had enough, Tom. The viewers are triggered right now. You can't say stuff like that. It might happen.
Who knows? I mean, I'm ready to go. You ready?
Let's go.
You ready?
Let's go.
You ready?
KLG.
Daelon ready?
We could have done that for a while. KLG, Red Canids, though. KLG, they've got the first game in the bag here. One more secures themselves a victory in the set, and they'll move on to face off with enemy, but Red Canids don't want to give it to them just yet. It's been back and forth, but KLG do have a slight advantage so far in this match.
Yeah, these matches are pretty tight here. It's really a pleasure to watch these two regions go head-to-head. Of course, Kaos Latin Gamers from Latin America, Red Canids representing Brazil. These are the best in their region, and the winners will go on to face North America's world's runner-up in Enemy, so it should be very fun to see who these guys wind up facing.
Oh, Numerito's gonna run into 3 people. Oh, and this is bad. They actually backed up and grouped there, but it seems like KBIOLA was taking a trip to the right-hand side. As you can see, the blue buff trying to be stolen away. Nice double tap. The mechanics from KBIOLA have been phenomenal, to be fair.
Right now, if I'm Red Canids, really, I want to focus on the mid lane. I want to take out this mid lane tower so that Numeritos has less of an opportunity to stack up and become relevant. Zalonsix could get knocked up. Good Sanctuary to prevent the follow-up damage. And the stun out of MarcelZ gonna miss, and the Sanctuary is gonna avoid some of that nonsense.
He's dead.
Up, down, see you later. Daelon, credit for that.
Nowhere to go, and now Dengosao in trouble as well. He's gonna get the Feather Step off, but the Hunters have rotated it. Supernova connects, but not enough damage to secure a kill. And now FiremancerSkull forced to go away, but Beltway to the back.
There's the jump in from Bellona, finds double stun, and looking for the kill on the FiremancerSkull is Numeritos, gets 1. KBIOLA gets 2. OReiTroll answers, but Beltway spanks one himself. 1 net on the side of Kaos. 4 toasted on the side of Red Canids, and with Beltway coming around the top side, everyone else coming around the bottom side. That looks to be 1 dead Vamana. Beautiful play from the jungler. Dia side, 13 in total for Kaos. They get a tier 1, and they're looking for a tier 2.
Guaranteed right now. Gold Fury up, Fire Giant up. It's up to KLG to decide what they want here. Honestly, both are pretty good options, but it looks like it's going to be a Phoenix. It's going to be neither of those two. Ix is here to defend.
Absolutely.
We do have FiremancerSkull in 5 seconds, but the Fire minions pressuring this early, so critical.
You got to play the deck that you build in picks and bans, and with the Soul on your side, you want to look for the structured, easy structure damage coming out from Soul, just raining into that Phoenix, and it allows Kaos to take out the first Phoenix of the game 21 minutes in.
Oh.
Oops.
Oops. Numeritos there, burn to Sanctuary. Not something he wanted to do. But 160 seconds, that could be trouble here.
Yeah.
The best part about burning it is actually that Red Canids don't know you burned it. Yes. So they're going to think that it's up, so they're going to be a little bit less looking. It's going to be harder for them to judge how safe you could be there. I like what Numeritos did, though. Just walks over to Gold Fury because his team has just backed in unison. Doesn't want that Gold Fury to be snuck or stolen away.
Nah, he's just looking for minions anywhere. He's got 37 stocks on a Warlock Sash at 22 minutes.
What are the? I'm trying to remember what the number is where it becomes more efficient than Estaf. And Estaf did get nerfed this split. I think it's like 60 or 70. It's not easy.
He's got
a ways to go.
37. It's more than that. To be fair, we're poking at him a little bit, but he's 7-1-6. He's been doing a lot more than poking the enemy. He's number 2 on the player damage as well. So, you know what? If it's crazy, if it's silly, but it works, and that's really the end of the story. So, Numeritos and his squad going to burst down the Gold Fury. Red Canids are here and available, and they steal it! Down comes all the damage from the Red squad. Gold Fury goes the other direction. Red Canids shorten the lead. 3K is what they're trailing by, but now Kaos out for blood.
Ice Assault going to be good, but look at this. I mean, Red Canids are so low. OReiTroll takes to the sky here, just trying to stomp down. He's surrounded by 4, but the rest of his team isn't following up right now. Spirit Bolt going to connect. KLG in a little bit of trouble. FiremancerSkull moves forward, gets knocked up. Beltway here as well. The knockup comes down, and Daelon finds 1.
Curse pushed out that Vamana. No healing available. Vamana's just got to walk out the other way. OReiTroll might have wound up with a kill or 2. So with that curse, unable to heal up. Kaos doesn't go for the kill on it, but just forcing Vamana out the hard way, certainly not a bad deal. This late in the game, you don't need the minions. Daelon can go ahead and take up this tier 1 tower.
Got a 4K gold lead, but they are going to wait for the minions here.
There it is, go. You've got the Soul on your team. Again, between the Soul and the Xbalanque, these towers are absolutely going to melt. Remember how fast the Phoenix died earlier? That was without Xbalanque.
The problem here now is that it doesn't seem like KLG is going to be able to keep forcing it, right? They have 2 members very low.
Yep.
The third about 60% life, and everyone's going to take a trip back to the base. But Canids, I mean, with that gold, you're actually able to hold on for a little bit. They're only 5,000 behind, 24 minutes in. It's not the worst lead.
Red Canids now on the left side. They've got 3 here. Almost thought they were going to head towards the tier 1 with Kaos backing it as a unit, but instead, Red Canids going to focus on just farming up a little bit. You can see everybody on the side of Red Canids just a hair behind their opposition, with the exception of the jungle. Everybody nice and even there between Thor and Awilix.
And that's just because Awilix has kind of, I wouldn't say had the better game, but a pretty solid game, a lot of rotations. Not only for kills, but also for farm. I mean, he's just been a little bit more efficient than KBIOLA. Double tap. Did he? Oh, he stole it. No, he didn't. I lied. Thought he did for a second.
Blue buff goes on to FiremancerSkull. So
that's a little bit more about the CDR. Mana-wise, he's probably fine. He's got Breastplate of Valor.
Well, it's everything combined, really. For a Bacchus, I'll take mana, I'll take CDR, I'll take it all. I'm just going to keep chugging. And that's exactly what Kaos are going to do as a unit. Chugging along on the right-hand side. Down goes a tier 1 tower. 500 in the pockets for the Latin Americas.
Looking for another 15 here with the tier 2. You can see Isis in the mid lane, just looking to split push. Level 18 probably needs to rotate over. And look at this underneath Dengosao.
Double bounce coming out from the support, but FiremancerSkull had a beautiful initiation, and it just don't matter. The turnaround from Kaos is strong. Shell popped after the initiation so that Kaos can keep going forward. Tier 2 tower going to be aggressed on, and Red Canids want nothing to do with it.
Knock up on 1 here. There comes the Spirit Ball, going to do a good amount of damage, but XT eliminated the second he falls down, and now this Phoenix going to be looked at as well. The one in mid, just a couple hits away, and it looks like KLG going to play it safe. They don't want it to heal up as much as it can. Just going to swing it down here, and a good stun. double tag off the mark, but KBIOLA going in.
Yeah, good damage as well. You can see chased all the way to the Phoenix is Dengosao, and that spacing allows Kaos to just push onto this tier 2 tower, and again, focusing on the basic attacks. Soul and Xbalanque, so incredibly adept at taking out these towers.
I mean, we can take a look at the strike. Yeah, just right up 6,000 from the Soul.
Soul.
KBIOLA doing 2K as well somewhere. I mean, he's just been rotating into the team fights. 2, 3, and 14. He's been a part of 16 and 17 kills. Kill participation, so incredible for him. He's just been all around the map setting stuff up.
Yeah, you know, the KBIOLA right there, we were lamenting earlier in the early game his mechanics and everything but his mechanics, his decision-making this second, third. And now, 16 out of 17 kills has his name on it.
And honestly, Numeritos 8-1-9 is actually 100% participation rate. I mean,
he's the hard carry. I mean, like I said, I'm making fun of the Warlock Sash at 21 minutes, but like, if it's working, how much fun can you really make of it?
He's got 4 items done, no red buff, and he's at 500 magical power.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he gets 2 more items, right? He gets a Soul Reaver and probably an Obsidian Shard. You can see him working on that, needs to penetrate. He's going to be nearly 1,000 gold, or 1,000 power.
60% there as we take a look at the
Why are they doing this
watch.
why is Numeritos on the wrong side of the map? Numeritos is on the wrong side of the map.
Just the wrong spot. Red Canids don't seem to mind, though. They're looking for the fight. This is a good move for RC. Jump in, belly flop. There's the ultimate out of Bacchus as well, but the follow-up damage. Sololator looking directly for it, and see you later. Dengosao, Beltway on top of that one. 1 down. It's a 4v5 now as Numeritos finally joins the fight.
KBIOLA up in the sky, very low. He's going to come down anyway. It's going to be on the ice. His hammer's away, and all he's doing is trying to set up. OReiTroll takes the bait, goes forward. Big baby stomp it away, trying to target one, but I mean, he can't even survive.
No heal for the Vamana. He's gonna exit stage left, maybe even the hard way as everybody's chasing him. KBIOLA catches up, but the dash should be good.
1v3.
MarcelZ does not have a dash, but he's got a meditation waiting in the heels. The Titans under attack as the minions funnel into the base, and Kaos making their last push.
Oh, you can see the Bacchus jump in, but knocked up. No time wasted from Daelon. And it looks like Canids here are going to be forced back to the base. Fire Giant could be looked at, but instead, KLG going to back in unison here. Numeritos, the only one left standing, just going to steal away the speed buff. He's probably going to be backing soon too. 1,300 in hand. He's going to have Ob's Shard done here shortly.
Yeah, Numeritos just looking for the...
He's going back.
Stacks.
Is he full stack set? Hey, is that 84?
No, it's 64.
Oh, come.
You got so excited.
I was like, 84? That's pretty good.
Hey.
Took him 10 minutes.
Bacchus with the Soul Reaver is something that we're used to seeing. Now, Kumbhakarna, it's actually really funny. Kumbhakarna and Bacchus have a lot in common if you think about the belly flop and the epic uppercut, but we don't really associate the Soul Reaver as often. I've seen Aurora do it maybe a handful of times over 2 years, but right here, Daelon going to pick up that Soul Reaver, and that's going to allow him to do so much more of what he's looking to do.
I think the reasoning for that is that Kumba will use abilities, but it's not necessarily let's go in, whereas the Bacchus, when he jumps in, gets the knock up and Soul Reaver proc, it's like, all right, it's time to go. Zoning coming out from Kumba, but OReiTroll just kind of walk it in. KLG picks it up here, and now OReiTroll in a lot of trouble.
Vamana can never heal.
Bye-bye.
There's 2 curses on this team. The ultimate out of Vamana, just not useful enough. He walks into the squad, and just as quickly as he shows up, he goes away. 5 members with Fire Giant around their waists. Kaos making their position up this middle lane. Kevin, 20 kills to 8. This is Red Canids' last stand.
KLG. They're 1 Titan away from advancing on to the next matchup where they'll be facing off against Enemy. Here comes the Spirit Ball, hits Daelon. The Phoenixes have been respawned and just immediately taken apart. And the question is, how eager are KLG? Are they going to look to end now, or are they going to wait for the Phoenixes? And it seems like they're going in.
Yeah, listen up to Daelon right now. Soul Reaver is available and online. As soon as he finds a target, that target is going to be smoked out. But unfortunately, he's the target, and Red Canids doing a great job of keeping the support at bay. Kaos Titan, 420-0. See you later. 30 minutes on the clock, and Kaos find 2 quick wins. They'll be the ones headed to the game against Enemy.
Really well played coming out from KLG there. Just phenomenal execution. Numeritos, honestly.
Yep.
I mean, both games, right? First game, MarcelZ makes that amazing hold, gets the quadra kill on Scylla, and Numeritos just kind of runs them around in circles on the Giannis. He's just able to avoid them, and he kind of just wastes their time. Then game 2 on the Soul, just the pure hyper carry.
Which was beautiful play, not only in-game, but also in the picks and bans. I mean, we talked at length about how Soul is the pick for Zalonsix. Soul is the pick for Zalonsix. So what happens is Red Canids ban mid laners away because they know there's no way Soul's gonna wind up in the mid. Surprise, Soul's in the mid.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Soul in the mid, but I mean, he made it work. I mean, it was incredible from him. He was 8-1 and 11 at the end there. I think a part of every single kill outside of one, which was probably just someone getting caught out there when the extended fight happened after the FG.
18-minute Warlock Sash never finally gets stacked up, but it just doesn't matter. He winds up bringing the pain. 8 kills in total, and everything going the way of his squad. KLG will be facing up against Pain to Beyond and his team of Enemy. That's coming up immediately here, Kevin. KLG had proven to be very strong against Red Canids. How do you think they'll fare against Enemy?
It's going to be interesting because there's two things, right? Obviously, they have to play 2 sets in a row, which is rough. However, they also have momentum going in. I mean, they looked really strong. They're going to be completely warmed up. There's going to be no hesitation from their abilities. And KBIOLA had a little bit of a rough start there, but I think he's going to be coming out fresh. So I do think it will serve in their favor having to face that set beforehand.
Yeah, we saw a number of teams come out here. A number of teams that have played very well in the past sort of struggle in game number 1, so that warm-up is certainly going to fare in the good side.
We know a lot about, you know, OMG we saw early on. Game 1, just a complete stomp for Pit there. Game 2, looking much better. And it's kind of the same vein with Paradigm. They're the same squad who will just kind of drop that first game and then look to get better afterwards.
KLG put on a fantastic show, and I'm sure they have a fantastic story. To tell it, it'll be Hindu Man with the victors.
And we do actually have with me here Daelon from the Kaos Latin Gamers. You guys had a fantastic 2-set game there. You played the Kumbhakarna very well, game 1. Sorry, game 2, I should say. And then, how did it go? How did you expect that result to come out from there?
Sorry, what?
Did you expect the result to be that way?
Yes. We expect the result in be that way because we have some troubles in the early, but we go full late, thinking in not fight every buff or every well dying for the buff. We just go for the late game.
And when you played against the Red Canids, did you expect them to play as well as they did?
Yes. We expect.
Very good team.
Very good team. They are really good. They are the champions of Brazil, so they're really good.
Yeah, and fair play to yourselves. You played very well as well. Now you've got to play face off against Enemy now. And they're, you know, #1 team coming out of North America, went to the finals at World Championships. What do you expect against them?
Playing against Enemy is a big honor for all of us from Latin America, playing against the fears of the set. Well, we are going to do our best to try to beat them.
And I'm sure the whole of Latin America will be hoping you do as well. So good luck in your next game. I'll let you go because obviously you've got to get ready straight away to take on Enemy. It's been a long day, my friend. And with that, guys, we're going to cut to a quick break and we'll be back with Enemy up against the Kaos Latin Gamers.
Exhausting. I'd rather be using brain power. This will be helpful.
Put it back, we don't need it! Let's rid them of their pathetic lives!
I'm skipping school for this?
There'll be ghosts soon.
I am paying attention!
Not today!
I got you! Geez, let me drive for a sec.
It's my turn! They think they got rid of me. Haunting is for life!
They think they can kill me?
I'm already dead! Let's scare the
Come on, not in front of the kids.
This is useless!
Oh yeah? Just watch. What does a zombie get when it bites a ghost?
A mouthful of shit! Even the beasts are afraid of me.